is time for Law or Not, where we have our legal experts answer some of your questions about the law.
Oh, I love this. Okay, and for that, we are joined by Donnie and Ken with the Advocates Law Firm. Hello, friends.
Hello.
Hi, guys.
Welcome back.
Happy to be here.
Thank you.
Absolutely. I hope you felt the love with that. Yeah,
we did.
All right, we have some scenarios for you, okay? Are you ready? All right, so this one is from one of our viewers who wants to know, look, pretty simple. How do I get out of a timeshare? So how is it that one would go about doing this?
I'm still surprised that people end up in these.
No, really?
Yes. There was a study that 85% of people that get into timeshares regret it. You can't get 85% of people to agree that water is wet. I just don't know how. I mean, but okay, if you get into one of these things, the first thing you got to do is check the contract. Sometimes there's a way out in the contract. It's rare, but sometimes it's there. And then it also depends on when and how you got it. So if it happened within the last week in Washington, there's a rescission period where you can just give it back and get your money back. That would be great.
Yeah.
If you catch it in 7 days.
Yeah, but typically you do this at the start of a vacation and it's too late. So
By the end.
Goodness.
Yeah.
So if you can't get out of it, is there any kind of option where you could resell it on another market?
Okay.
So that's one choice. Before you do that, I would call the company, and you want to ask for the person that deals with the things they call deed backs or surrenders, where you give it back to them and they don't give you any of your money back. You're not getting your money back. That's gone. But maybe you can get rid of it by just giving it back to them.
Super important to ask for deed back or surrenders, though, because if you talk to somebody else, they're probably an individual that is really good at selling and can actually upsell you on what you're trying to get rid of.
Oh my gosh.
Oh,
that would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
Oh, it happens all the time, where you're trying to get rid of it and they convince you to drop another 15 or 20 grand.
So we got to be ready. We have the info.
Yes.
We got to be ready.
Be on your toes.
And then there's these companies that will try to get you out of it. They'll say, give us $15,000 and we'll get rid of the timeshare. And then you take the $15,000 and the company just goes away. So don't do that.
Don't do that either.
They're worse. You get taken advantage of again.
Yes.
Wow.
All right, let's get into another scenario here. So someone said, there's a man at my work who's been fired for repeatedly pushing and threatening another employee when he's applying for jobs. And then these people call me. Am I allowed to tell them that he was fired for being violent repeatedly? Or am I only allowed to say that he is not rehireable?
Oof.
That's a tough one.
If this was me, I would not touch this with a 10-foot pole without talking to an employment lawyer.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I did HR for a while when we were much smaller. Not my favorite job for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
Haven't experienced this, but if I did get a reference request for an individual that was violent and dangerous while they were at my firm, I would be concerned that they might be violent and dangerous after.
Right.
So I would want to get advice first before talking to anyone.
Yeah, I mean, how much of his violent history can you sort of legally discuss?
Yeah, well, so there is a liability immunity for employers in Washington State and most states, so you can discuss job performance. Anything that's not misleading is technically safe for you to discuss. I wouldn't probably discuss anything prior to the employment at your firm, so like anything that person dealt with, before coming to your company, I probably wouldn't disclose. But anything that happened while they were there, I think is fair game to discuss, but be careful and talk to somebody before you do so.
Okay, so here's the thing I'm wondering about. Say something that happens down the line, they've been hired somewhere else. Are you liable in any way if you didn't say anything?
There's a chance. So that's why it's really important to talk to a lawyer. First of all, make sure you're the person that should be answering these questions, not just doing it. But yeah, that's why you need to talk to a lawyer, because what if they do something there and you knew about it but didn't tell them about it? And at the very least, if you're going to do rehireable or not rehireable, you can say it in a way that doesn't say it. It's like,
you can say a lot by saying a little.
Oh, very nice.
I need to learn how to do that.
Like definitely not rehireable versus absolutely would rehire.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay, we have one more scenario for you here. Okay, so it says 3 years ago, I was pulled over, issued a speeding ticket. I was under the impression my parents paid for the ticket to help me out. You know, I was short on cash at the time. However, my mother was cleaning out their office and found a notice of failure to appear, a letter from 2020. It said that there was an arrest warrant out for me from a different state. Do I have to hire a lawyer to enter a plea? Is the notice mean it's too late? Can I pay the ticket? What are the fees accrued? So this is apparently the first time this person is learning about this, and they're pretty nervous.
So the short answer is don't ignore it. Just call up the court. They'll do some sort of thing that will allow you to pay over time, and it'll go away. But you don't need a lawyer for that, but you definitely need to call and don't ignore it because it's a crime.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, man. Thank you so much for bringing all the knowledge to us today.
Good.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk to you again, Donnie and Ken from The Advocates. All right.